In this video, we're going to take a look at the Envelope Distortion tool within Carveco Maker Plus. Now, this is specifically for reliefs. So if you're looking to do this with 2D vectors, then check out the video in the description for Envelope Distortion in Carveco Maker. Now, to do this, you need a relief that is a piece of floating clip art. If you've got a relief as shown here, it won't work. So it needs to be blue. So if I were to go over to the Envelope Distortion tool here and click on it, it will basically ask me to create a vector envelope. And that's not what I want to do. So what you need to do is close that, and I need to free this up from the 0 plane. So I'm just going to come up to here for Relief Cookie Cutter. Click on that, and then it basically turns it blue, and I can move that around. I'm just going to turn off the 0 plane just so you can see this a little bit better. And what you need to do is select this object and then go into the Envelope Distortion. So what you can do with this, exactly the same as the 2D shapes. So let's say that I wanted to move that. You can see that I can affect how this basically looks. So I can make that really small there. Okay, so I basically distorted this text. You've got Z scaling, so you've got constant height. So basically that's exactly the same height as it was when I created it. You've also got average scale. So if I select that, it's basically going to scale up to the average size. So it's going to take sizes all across here, and it's going to be the average Z height. You've also got linear scale. So if I click on that, you can see that the scale is basically modulating depending on the width of those vectors. And then you've got stretch and squeeze. So it's doing the opposite to what it just done. So it's going to basically make it smaller when the vector width is larger. Now you can also change the scaling factor of this. So let's say that I want it to be 50, then it makes it smaller. So I don't tend to use this that much, to be honest with you. We also have copies. So you can do one, you can do many, or you can specify the number. So let's say 5, and so I just want 2, and it creates different copies of that. It also maintains smooth curves. So basically Carveco maintains the curves. I don't tend to use that a lot, to be honest, because I like to control the Bezier curves myself. And you can do some really, really cool designs really, really easy. When you're happy with that, press Finish. Now you can also change the envelope if you want to. So let's say that I wanted this to go between there, maybe there. So what I can do is go into there, change the envelope, and let's go between 2 curves. Select the object, and I can distort it between the 2 curves. So it's exactly the same as the 2D one. When you're happy with this, select Finish, and then it changes the relief. And then what you can do is paste that down and create a relief with that. What you can also do with this is create unique sort of folds within reliefs. So here you can see that I've got this wedge shape. I've created that by just using the shape editor, bringing up a straight relief, and then fading the relief from one end to the other, and then just freeing that up using the cookie cutter. Let's turn off the 0 plane, select the wedge that I've created, and then go into Envelope Distortion. So I'm going to leave this, and I'm just going to basically change the nodes. So if I select any of these nodes, you can see that I can move that around like so. If I don't want to, let's say that I wanted to move that, I can do that, press undo, and it will go back and change all your moves. Now, what I tend to do with things like this is select 2 of them at a time. And then what I can do is move that around and I can create sort of folds. Now you can see that this is folding right at the end. That's because I'm basically moving that so it goes over the top. Now if you don't want to do that, right click on the vector, insert a node, right click down the bottom, insert a node. Now what you can do is grab those 2 handles again and it basically limits where that fold's going to be. So I could do a fold there, maybe insert a node here. Shortcut is I, just like node editing. Let's select those 2, bring that down, say like that. I can make this smaller if I wanted to, or larger. Change any of these, like so. And then when you're happy with this, just press finish. Now this only works and only creates these ripples because it's a wedge shape. So it's basically changing in Z height. If this was all the same height, it wouldn't work because it would just go over the top of each other. So if I select finish, and then what I can do, let's turn on the 0 plane, paste that down. You can see I've got these sort of folds and ripples in that shape. Now another way that you can use this is to generate banners. It's really useful for doing things like that. Now you don't want to do this on just a square standard height relief. What you need to do is do this on something that's modulated in Z. So the easiest way to do this is to draw a circle, open up the shape editor, create a round profile, let's say something like that, select apply and then cancel. And then what I'm going to do is just draw a rectangle, let's say like that. Then what I can do is free up that relief within that vector, so it basically cuts that part out. I can reset the relief that's underlying, delete that circle, and then you can see I've got this sort of shape. So I'm just going to drop this down in height. So if I select that and then go into the transform tool, just going to bring this down a little bit, let's say to about there, and then I can close that. Now I'm going to take a plan view of this and select the floating clip art, go into Envelope Distortion, and what I'm going to do with this is maintain the smooth curves. And I'm going to insert some pairs of nodes. So let's insert a pair there, a pair there, a pair here, and a pair here. So let's grab that pair, and you can see that as I move them, I can create these folds. Let's select that pair. Like so. And if I want to basically change the ends of these, let's turn off maintain smooth curves. And then what I'm going to do is bring that in. And then you can really, really tweak these basically as you see fit. So let's say that that's my ribbon that I want to create. Select finish when I'm done. And then what I can do is, if I'm happy with that, I can just paste that down. Let's turn off the vectors and the 0 plane. And you can see that I've created this nice ribbon, and you can see that the folds are really nice. So that's basically how to use the Envelope Distortion tool within Carveco Maker Plus.